So Vidyate Hridaya Kuhara Madhye Kevalam Divishamanasa Swam Chilvata Jita Yavam Charamuri Atmanishto Deham Prapaya Jada Makam Aham Natasyastu Naham Tattasabhavashu Isamaye Siddha Nasadha Drishta Manishta So Pitaya Aruna Chala Shiva Vibha Swayam So Pitaya Aruna Chala Shiva Vibha Swayam Namo Ramana. In this, the Thursday satsang from Ramanacentre for Learning, it has been our practice to select two verses from the work Guru Vachaka Povai. The work is rendered in verse form by Muruganar Swamigal. The verses are selected for us randomly by Revatima. Each verse is read and the reading is followed by a short meditation on its meaning, and that is followed by the practice of Atma Vicharam for about 15 minutes. After these two segments of verse reading, meditation on meaning, and practice of self-enquiry are completed, there will be summing up remarks by Venkatesh Deshpande, and that will be followed by the offering of Sri Ramana Stotram. The chanting will be by Vaibhavji and Pratnama online, and the floral offerings shall be by Manjunathji from right here. We begin the satsang by taking up the first verse selected for us, verse number 136. This we find in the first of the major segments, investigation into truth. The second is meditation on the truth, and the final is experience of the truth. Verse number 136, we find in the subsegment the Pandit, the knowledgeable scholar. The Pandit, the knowledgeable scholar, verse 136. One who is ever devoted, one who is ever devoted to self-abidance is in a state that is devoid of falsity. One who is ever devoted to self-abidance is in a state that is devoid of falsity. Only he who remains firmly there through the clear knowledge of the reality that arises when doubt and wrong understanding, which are the components of delusion, wear away and die. Such a one is the one who has seen the further shore of worldly knowledge. Seeing the further shore of worldly knowledge does not imply that one knows everything. It indicates instead that one has transcended dualistic knowledge. One who is ever devoted to self abidance is in a state that is devoid of all falsity. Only he who remains firmly there through the clear knowledge of the reality that arises when doubt and wrong understanding, which are the components of delusion, wear away and die. Such a one is the one who has seen the further shore of worldly knowledge. Seeing the further shore of worldly knowledge does not imply that one knows everything. It indicates instead that one has transcended dualistic knowledge. So, who is the real scholar? The real scholar is one who has Atma Jnana, one who is ever abiding in the self, knowing that all this non self is Jadam and Asat. Anything that is non self is inert and does not really exist. With such knowledge, the real scholar is abiding always in the self, thus avoiding the two components of delusion, that is, doubt and wrong understanding. The intellect will always move between certainty and doubt, and there can be wrong understanding of the whole non self area in one way or the other, whereas self knowledge completely transcends that area. That is why it is clarified that further shore is reached not by knowing what will happen this moment, next moment, till the end of time, but knowing that knowledge which transcends the duality of knowledge and ignorance. This Bhagavan covers in the verses in Ulladu Narpadu, verses 10 and 11, where Bhagavan discusses about the duality of knowledge and ignorance. Bhagavan says, whenever worldly knowledge arises, it is not clear knowledge. It is always arising simultaneously with ignorance. Ariyamai vit arivintra, arivivittu ariyamai intra. And in the next verse, in 11th verse, he says, Arivurum tannai ariyadu ayale arivadu ariyamai. That the self is the source of consciousness, source of knowledge. Without knowing the self, knowing any non-self is all only ignorance. So that is the highest viveka you can get in the area of knowledge. That self is knowledge, non-self is ignorance. Self is happiness, non-self is misery. With this understanding, when one abides in the self, one transcends the duality of knowledge and ignorance. Only such a one can be called as the real scholar. Let us sit in Atma Ucharam for the next 15 minutes or so. Julji, you can set the time for us.
Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya.
Namo Ramana. We continue by taking up the second verse selected for us, 754. 754. We find in the segment meditation on the truth. 754 is in the subsegment Nididhyasana, uninterrupted contemplation. Nididhyasana, uninterrupted contemplation. 754. Far superior to the powerful Sankalpa Siddhi, which enables you to attain anything that you think of in the way that you desire. Far superior to this is the state full of peace of the heart that is attained by getting firmly established in the being consciousness, wherein not even a single thought arises. Far superior to the powerful Sankalpa Siddhi, which enables you to attain everything that you think of in the way that you desire. Far superior to this is the state full of the peace of the heart, which is attained by getting firmly established in the being consciousness, the I am, wherein not even a single thought arises. It is far, far superior because the Sankalpa Siddhi is for an ego, for a fragment. And that itself, when done as tapasya, there is nothing that cannot be achieved. And in exactly the way in which you want to achieve, you can achieve that. That is the power of Sankalpa Siddhi. But then it is illusory because it is still for an ego and it is an attainment. And all attainments will also be lost. That which is gained will also be lost. The self is never gained and therefore never lost. That is the siddhi of the being consciousness, the I am, the nididhyasana. How you can recognize this? Because the mind, which is used to the duality of good and bad, will always use the sankalpa siddhi. What error it finds in past behavior, it would want to correct. I should not do this. What good it found in past behavior, it would like to carry it out. And with greater and greater tapasya, as the mind becomes purer and purer, there is not a single sankalpa you cannot fulfill. But then still, that is unreal. It is still with the triad of seer, seeing, seen, knower, knowing, known. And far superior is the state when the mind says, this was something wrong I did, I should not do hereafter. One should immediately ask, for whom is this thought? Who am I? So you exist here and now. The sankalpa exists depending on you, depending on self-attention. The self-attention is ever present. The moment you depend on sankalpa, you enter the area of birth and rebirth. You enter the area of dualities. Far superior is the state where one abides as, for whom is this thought that this should not have happened? For me, who am I? For whom is this thought that one should attain something at a future date? And remain in that I am, where absolutely no thought arises. Nanudiyadulla nilai, nam aduai ulla nilai. Where the I thought itself does not arise, no other thought arises. And one abides as the I am, the ever present pure self, which does not even rise to identify with this body, with this mind. That means the nearest object that it identifies with in this dream world is this body and this mind. When that is observed and separated, then one is observing the Google Meet, where one sees one's own picture as well as the rest of the participants. Who is seeing one's own picture and the rest of the participants? So all the participants and my own picture is projected by the thought-free self, is projected from the thought-free self by the mind. So when abiding in the thought-free self, one sees one's earlier relative identity as well as the relative identities of the rest of the participants in the Google Meet. This Google Meet called creation. All of them are projected from out of this self-attentive self. As one practices with effort, this abiding in the self-attentive self, it becomes natural. It becomes clear that there are no answers in the area of sankalpa. The real answer is only to abide as the I am, from which not even a single thought arises. Let us sit in Atmavicharam for the next 15 minutes or so. Jalji will trouble you again. Thank you.
नमो भगवते श्रीरमणाय।
Namo Ramana. May I request Venkatesh Deshpande ji to give us the summing up remarks. Namo Ramana, sir.
Namo Ramana. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo, Ishvara, Guru Sat Parama, Tasmai Shri Gurave Yanam Guru Mantramulam Guru Vakyam Mokshamulam Guru Kripaha Mokshamulam Guru Kripaha. So these two verses talk about being in the self, continuously being in the self. Let's try and understand what are the advantages of being in the self. See, the first thing that you do is you don't try to impress anybody. See, most of the time, what we are doing in life, we're trying to impress somebody. You think there is yourself, you are there, and I have to impress somebody. So that's the first thing. Stop impressing somebody else because you realize slowly, each one of us, that there's nobody else but you. You become very genuine in your approach. What happens is you know falsity drops off. See, what happens in falsity is that when you fall, it's a put on. It's a put on, then what happens is you have to remember. Because if I have told you something false, any one of you, and then you have to remember, oh, what did I tell this fellow? This is what I have to remember that. Then what happens? You're either in the past or you're in the future. And then you are trying to interpret both these to be able to say something in the present. So you are actually not living in the present at all. But in the self, you will be in the present. There will be absolutely no falsity because you will be genuine. You will not remember what you said also. Like a lot of people, even Krishna to Arjuna, he says, whatever I said, I said. So that's what came out from the self. When you abide in the self, what comes out. So that's the beauty of being in the self. And the important thing is being in the now. This is life is happening now. Life is a ghost. It's already finished. Nobody is in the future. Life is happening now. So this is a very important aspect that we need to see ourselves in. Then you start seeing yourself as an instrument of God. You stop being a doer. The doership vanishes. You become an instrument and say, oh, that's surrender in a way that you say, I am this body is yours. And you get whatever needs to get done, let it get done. So you become an instrument of God. And then the doership vanishes. It doesn't mean that I should say this, I should not say this is right, this is wrong, all that vanishes. Stop longing for siddhis. See, this is very important thing because in sadhana, the biggest problem is siddhis. Siddhis is I want to be better than the other. I should be able to demonstrate something which others cannot. This is the biggest problem with sadhana as you keep going down the path of sadhana. So says that when you do not want siddhis, then what happens? Then see, in siddhis you're demonstrating that, you're showing them, you're showing the whatever siddhis you have. In being in the self, you're not demonstrating anything. Bhagavan didn't care. He was absolutely in with the in the self. And he didn't say that I should do like this. Like today, management principles is you must get into your customer's shoes. None of that stuff. He was in the self. When he was in the self, he was in absolute peace. He was in silence. So that's what Swami Shivananda says in his Samadhi: be good, then do good. First, being is very important. So this is a very important thing. What are we being here and now? If we are being genuine, then and not falsifying things, then what happens? When we are being good, doing good is automatic. You don't even have to worry about doing good. Just be good. Very important aspect of our sadhana. And whatever happens, then you become an instrument of God. Then whatever you do is actually God that is doing everything. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Namo Ramana.
Namo Ramana, sir. May I request Vaibhavji and Pratnama to do the chanting of Ashtotram?
Yes, sir. Namo Ramana.
Namo Ramana.
भारद्वाज विश्वनाथ विरचितं श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तर शतनामावलिः अपार सच्चित् सुखवारिराशे यस्योर्मि मात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि ॐ महासेन महोंसेन जाताय नमः ॐ श्रीरमणाय नमः ॐ गुरवे नमः ॐ अखण्डसंविदाकाराय नमः ॐ महौजसे नमः ॐ कारणोद्भवाय नमः ॐ जगद्धितावताराय नमः ॐ श्रीभूमिनाथस्थलोस्थिताय नमः ॐ पराशरकुलोत्तंसाय नमः ॐ सुन्दरार्यतपःफलाय नमः ॐ कमनीयसुचारित्राय नमः ॐ सहायाम्ब सहायवते नमः ॐ शोणाचलमहोलीनमानसाय नमः ॐ स्वर्णहस्तकाय नमः ॐ श्रीमद्वादशान्तमहास्थले लब्धविद्योदयाय नमः ॐ महाशक्तिनिपातेन प्रबुद्धाय नमः ॐ परमार्थविदे नमः ॐ तीव्राय नमः ॐ पितृपदान्वेषिणे नमः ॐ इन्दुमौलिना पितृमते नमः ॐ पितुरादेशतः शोणशैलं प्राप्ताय नमः ॐ तपोमयाय नमः ॐ उदासीन ॐ महोत्साहाय नमः ॐ कुशाग्रदिये नमः ॐ शान्तसङ्कल्पसंरम्भाय नमः ॐ सुसन्दृशे नमः ॐ सवित्रे नमः ॐ स्थिराय नमः ॐ तपक्षपितसर्वाङ्गाय नमः ॐ फुल्लाम्बुजविलोचनाय नमः ॐ चन्द्रिकासितहास श्रीमण्डितान्नमण्डलाय नमः ॐ चूतवाट्यां समासीनाय नमः ॐ चूर्णिताखिलविभ्रमाय नमः ॐ वेदवेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञाय नमः ॐ चिन्मुद्रिणे नमः ॐ त्रिगुणातिगाय नमः ॐ विरूपाक्षगुहावासाय नमः ॐ विराजचलाकृतये नमः ॐ उद्दीप्तनयनाय नमः ॐ पूर्णाय नमः ॐ रचिताचलताण्डवाय नमः ॐ गम्भीराय नमः ॐ परमाचार्याय नमः ॐ सुप्रसन्नाय नमः ॐ अभयप्रदाय नमः ॐ दक्षिणास्यनिभाय नमः ॐ धीराय नमः ॐ दक्षिणाभिमुखाय नमः ॐ स्वराजे नमः ॐ महर्षये नमः ॐ भगवते नमः ॐ ईड्याय नमः ॐ भूमविद्याविशारदाय नमः ॐ विमलाय नमः ॐ दीर्घदर्शिने नमः ॐ आप्ताय नमः ॐ ऋजुमार्गप्रदर्शकाय नमः ॐ समदृशे नमः ॐ सत्यदृशे नमः ॐ सत्याय नमः ॐ प्रशान्ताय नमः। ॐ अमितविक्रमाय नमः। ॐ सुकुमाराय नमः। ॐ सदानन्दाय नमः। ॐ मृदुभाषिणे नमः। ॐ दयार्णवाय नमः। ॐ श्री शोणाचलरद्बोधस्कन्दाश्रमनिकेतनाय नमः। ॐ सद्दर्शनोपदेष्ट्रे नमः। ॐ सद्भक्तवृन्दपरिवृताय नमः। ॐ गणेशमुनिभृङ्गेन सेविताङ्घ्रिसरोरुहाय नमः। ॐ गीतोपदेशसारादिग्रन्थसञ्चिन्नसंशयाय नमः। ॐ वर्णाश्रममतातीताय नमः। ॐ प्रसज्ञाय नमः। ॐ सौम्याय नमः। ॐ आत्मवते नमः। ॐ सर्वनिमतस्थानामाराध्याय नमः। ॐ सर्वसद्गुणिने नमः। ॐ आत्मारामाय नमः। ॐ महाभागाय नमः। ॐ मातृमुक्तिविधायकाय नमः। ॐ विनताय नमः। ॐ विनुताय नमः। ॐ विप्राय नमः। ॐ मुनीन्द्राय नमः। ॐ पावकोज्ज्वलाय नमः। ॐ दर्शनालोकसंहारिणे नमः। ॐ मौनेन स्वात्मबोधकाय नमः। ॐ ऋचान्तिकरसान्निध्याय नमः। ॐ स्मरणाद्बन्धमोचकाय नमः। ॐ अन्तस्थिमिरचण्डांशवे नमः। ॐ संसारार्णवतारकाय नमः। ॐ शोणाद्रिशस्तुतिद्रष्टे नमः। ॐ हार्दविद्याप्रकाशकाय नमः। ॐ अविच्युतनिजप्रज्ञाय नमः। ॐ नैसर्गिकमहातपसे नमः। ॐ कमण्डलुधराय नमः। ॐ शुभ्रकौपीनवसनाय नमः। ॐ गुहाय नमः। ॐ दण्डपाणये नमः। ॐ कृपापूर्णाय नमः। ॐ भवरोगभिषग्वराय नमः। ॐ स्कन्दाय नमः। ॐ देवतमाय नमः। ॐ अमर्त्याय नमः। ॐ सेनान्ये नमः। ॐ पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः। ॐ श्रीरमण भगवते नमः। श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तरशतनाम पूजां समर्पयामि। यस्थानोररुणाचलस्य पदयोः स्थित्या जनिं प्राप्यत दिव्यानुग्रह सुप्रवाह विवशास्तादात्म्यभावं गतः हृन्निष्ठस्वगभीरनित्यतपसा लोकान् पुनासेकराट् तस्मै श्रीरमणाय ते नम इदं लोकोत्तरज्योतिषे। ॐ नमो भगवते श्रीरमणाय।
नमो 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 रमण सदाशिव प्रभावरण नमो महर्षि नमो महर्षि दर्शन सुख मंगल मुख सकल जीवहित सम्मुख ब्रह्म संगिये नमो 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 रमण सदाशिव प्रभावरण नमो महर्षि नमो महर्षि सदा तुष्ट सदा हृष्ट सदा शिवानन्द पुष्ट सदा तुष्ट सदा हृष्ट सदा शिवानन्द पुष्ट परम महर्षि ब्रह्मनिष्ठ समदर्शी नमो 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 रमण सदाशिव प्रभावरण नमो महर्षि नमो महर्षि ನಮ್ಮ ಮನವದೊಂದು ಕಾಡು ನೀನರಿತಿಹೆ ಅದರ ಜಾಡು ಹಿತವನರಿತು ನೀಡು ತೆಮ್ಮ ಕೊರೆಯ ತಣಿಸಲೈ ಬೇಡಲೆಂದು ಬಂದ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿಯೇ ತಣಿವೆವಯ್ಯ ಮೋಡಿಗಾರನೇ ಹಿತವ ನುಡಿದು ಪೊರೆ ನಮ್ಮನು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಸಂಗಿಯೇ ನಮೋ 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 ರಮಣ ಸದಾಶಿವ ಪ್ರಭಾವರಣ ನಮೋ ಮಹರ್ಷಿ नमो महर्षि बोलो भगवान श्री रमण महर्षि की
जय
जय
नमो रमण
नमो रमण
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮೋ ರಮಣ.
नमो रमण to everyone.
Namo Ramana sir. Thank you.
नमो रमण